What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Joseph here. Today, I'm talking to my friend Jake Stockhausen. Jake is a sports marketing major at Wittenberg University in Ohio, and he plays on the tennis team there as well. He lives in Brookfield, Wisconsin. So, let's get to know Jake Stockhausen. Perfect. Okay, welcome, Jake. How you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
Can't complain. Okay, question number one. What is it like being an essential worker right now?
Well, I don't really, to be honest, I feel like I don't view myself as essential. I view just someone just as just someone who just is doing an everyday job. I mean, I've never really I only got this job like 2-3 weeks ago. So I mean, it's not like I don't know. I never really viewed myself as an essential worker, but I mean, I go into work thinking what can I do to just make this place a better place, and how can I help my fellow people in the community as well. So it's just I really just don't look at it like that. But I mean, technically we are it's annoying to wear masks and all that stuff, but and get our temperature checks and all that stuff, especially when you're healthy and everything. But yeah, I mean, it feels good to know I'm helping at the greater good of the community, but at the same time, it's just another job.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I feel that. How do you keep tennis in your daily schedule?
I really don't at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have been, but that comes at the mercy of the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that stretch of time where it was 70 degrees or in the high 60s. I mean, I was playing almost every day, but I mean, right now we're going through it snowed yesterday, and it's 40s now. I mean, again, it's all kind of just based on the mercy of Mother Nature. But I mean, I've also been kind of lazy on my behalf. I haven't really done any workouts or any all this other stuff. I mean, I'm hitting here and there, but I mean, it's not it's completely gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's harder to get access, because especially when your parents and other parents don't let you play with other kids. I mean, it makes it harder. And I mean, don't get me wrong, my dad's a great tennis player, but I mean, there's a difference between a almost 50-year-old and a 19-year-old college player who, I mean, my dad the difference is that there's definitely a difference. And so I'm still getting a lot out of it. It's just it's not type of play I would ever see in real life matches at my point in my life. So
yeah. Is Western still open?
Well, technically yes. The courts and the nets are up, but everything else is closed. I know they're planning on opening the pool open in the end of May, if the ban gets lifted. But I mean, it's very, I don't know, because the restaurant's open, but I mean, then again, it's only for people who are members of the club. But I mean, on a nice day, Western can get pretty packed for tennis courts, because I mean, people are looking for things to do. So I mean, they're not making any money off the courts either, which is so technically they're closed, but they're open to members. So I mean, it's nice to save money on court time and stuff, but it does also hurt their business.
Yeah. So while you're stuck at home, I have seen that you've been playing a lot. What would you say is your favorite game right now that you're playing?
Video games?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can never go wrong with 2K. I'm a big 2K guy, but I mean, I've been messing around with the on TikTok, and I saw called Grand Theft Auto, and Andrew texted me. He's like, "Dude, I'm gonna get GTA," and I'm like, "Okay, like, cool." Like I didn't think much of it. And he's like, "You should." And I'm like, "Why should I?" And because I used to just like only play 2K pretty much,
Mhm.
which I got eventually bored of over quarantine.
Yeah.
Uh, so he texted me and was like, "Oh yeah, there's like a $29.99 deal where you get like $2 million in online spending money and also the whole game as a package." And I'm like, "Okay, shit, like I'll play." And like on TikTok, you're seeing all like the purple versus green alien people like memes or whatever.
Mhm.
And uh, Andrew and I have been kind of messing around with that a little bit. Um, Green Gang, but that's really helped time fly by.
Mhm.
That'll keep me busy while school's done for me. So,
Have you been watching anything during quarantine?
a little bit. At the beginning, I watched Tiger King. I was the first one to watch that in my family, and then I watched it a second time with my family. But and then I've watched a little bit of The Office. Like I tried to start that over again, but like I don't know. I'm not a big Netflix guy.
Mhm.
That's like when I get to like the epitome of boredom.
Yeah.
Um, but then I watched the Waco series about like the church or whatever you want to call them. So I watched that and like the standoff about that. But besides that, I really haven't watched much.
Mhm.
It's been a lot of reruns of sports.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. ESPN's been doing a pretty good job of showing a lot of stuff. Have you been watching the Jordan documentary?
I actually haven't
Mhm.
because there's no bias here or anything like that. It's just I I I was in school at the time, and I'm like, you know what? I still have homework to do. I'm not gonna like. I'll just see if I can watch it or access it another time.
Mhm.
But so like I never like I didn't want to start it like halfway through the series too.
Yeah, yeah.
Like have people like ruin things for me. So I was just gonna kind of wait it out and see if
Mhm.
I can find it somewhere. Um, Either on ESPN or just like when they show it on TV or something. So I'll get around to it eventually, but not not watching it right now.
Mhm. Okay. Gonna kind of switch gears a little bit. What would you say was your favorite memory from high school tennis? You had a very, very successful career, but is there anything that like sticks out in your memory?
Um, well, I would say, if I could give it a broad term, I'd say my senior year of high school. But to kind of give it, because the senior year for not just my team, but for Teddy and I was, historic. Um, but I'd probably say uh, it was June 10th, 2019. That was the day where Teddy and I played our last two matches together. Um, it was first one was against Middleton. We lost that one, which we shouldn't have, but it's
Mhm.
really okay because our team won the next match and that match, so we moved on. We were one of the last people to go on, so we didn't really care. But um, that day, that later in that day, we uh, ended up playing against Brookfield East, and that was the day that I kind of saw like my true like leadership colors come through, like how to lead a team. And because I had been captain for 2 years previously, and I was trying to rally my guys because Brookfield East was pretty equally matched to us, and that would have been my fourth state title and Teddy's third. And as like partners, we had gone through so much of a roller coaster ride, and that day we played Brookfield East. We clinched the match for our team, like to win the state championship, like Teddy and I did. And I can picture the video right now in my head because my mom took a video of it, and Teddy's mom took a video of it of the last point where we clinched it. We didn't know when we won the match, we were the fourth deciding point, because we had no idea because we were separated from all the other courts. We more or less, like, after the point was over, we dropped our rackets and more or less gave a hug to each other, like that was it. Like, we had no idea we just won the state championship for our team. But when the applause came, like, after it, and like the screaming and all the yelling, I think we put two and two together, like, holy shit, like, we just did this.
Mhm.
Like, we just we as seniors, like, couldn't have had more of a storybook ending to Teddy and I doubles career, because we'd been playing since we were in 8th grade. I mean, I met him in 7th grade at a tournament, and it was the funniest story because I was playing him in singles,
Mhm.
and he but I had no idea who this kid was because I was sitting with one of my other friends, and he was talking to this other kid, and that turned out to be Teddy. And I was playing against him, and me and him, like, sat next to each other, like, on the bench, which never happens in doubles. And
Mhm.
I'd never met this kid beforehand too. And we just, like, kind of, like, kept hitting it off. And when we found out we were going to Marquette, it was like we started, like, keeping in contact, starting playing. So, and, like, all the hard work that Teddy and I put together, I mean, from 8th grade to senior year, and then, like, getting that state championship medal around our necks, and holding that trophy, and, like, our coach, like, handing it to, like, not just me but or Teddy, but, like, the both of us. Like, he literally was like, this isn't just the teams, this is, like, more or less yours, like the two of you. He just, like, gave it to us, like, without your guys' leadership, like, we couldn't have done this.
Mhm.
And later that night, we found out we were apparently the greatest double, like, according to records in Market High School, we're the greatest doubles team to ever play. Um, and I mean, like, that was just a very, like, memorable high school tennis career that I had. It's kind of long, and there's a lot of explanation to it, but it's something that I hold near and dear to my heart, and it's something I mean, I still go back and watch that video. Maybe, I mean, like, I just wrote a paper on it, like, for
Mhm.
my English class. Like, it's a really big thing in my life, and I wouldn't trade anything for it again. So,
Yeah. You've had a really long career, not just playing tennis, but like other stuff too. Is that like your favorite memory of anything? Or is there something from when you were like younger that you have fond memories of as well?
well, I mean, high school tennis is definitely been my favorite part of tennis.
Mhm.
I mean, don't get me wrong, college tennis is fun. Um, and I love it, but I mean, granted, I didn't really have much of a season this year, so I couldn't really get, like, the full taste of it. So high
Mhm.
school is still, like, at the top tier, but I mean, I can't go wrong with saying, just the overall memories that I had with, just traveling the country with my dad. Like,
Mhm.
we would go to, like, Illinois, like, uh, Minnesota, Ohio, uh, where else? We went to, I mean, we took Andy and myself and my dad went to Florida to train in a tennis camp when we were younger for, like, my 13th birthday. Um, but and then, like, my dad and I going on, like, recruiting trips, like, college visits when for tennis, like, when schools would be interested. I went all across the Midwest, and I mean, that's something, like, that's a lot of precious time that I wish I had back, because I mean, I don't I mean, since I graduated high school, you don't really have as many opportunities to play and travel with, like, your parents, or just go anywhere to, like, play tournaments and just have that experience back. I mean, it was something that's something also I wish I could have back, because I think I took it for granted. And more or less now, looking back, and I miss just traveling the state and the Midwest to just kind of spend time with my dad. And so,
Yeah, I feel that. That's a good answer. Um, have you ever like do you keep up with people that you have played against or played with like a while ago, or is it usually just like, you play them and that's it? Or because I mean, tennis is it's a 1v1 or a 2v2 sport. Like it's much more personal than, soccer, football, or basketball. Like, do you ever like play against a guy and you're like, dang, I played against this guy, and you like, follow him on Instagram or something after, or add him on Snap? Like, how does that work?
Well, the Milwaukee tennis. I mean, the Milwaukee tennis, like the whole Wisconsin, honestly, tennis community is extremely small.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of all know each other somehow, some way. Granted, you don't have to like the person, but you all know them, and you all will always like follow them, or like, you'll get like I have a bunch of really close friends who not just go to my club, but go to different clubs who I still stay in contact with, and I'll text, or I'll be on the private stories on Snapchat, or I'll be like I could like joke around with, like I could see them, and like like I didn't go to college. Like, I just know, like I would always be able to like have a conversation with them and
Mm-hmm.
always like joke around with them. But I mean, there are a lot of people at my club at my age who play a lot of like tournaments, and they uh we're all playing, we all kind of just hang out. I mean, it's kind of like our friend group, but like for me it's tennis.
Mm-hmm.
um but besides that, I mean, besides Wisconsin, I mean, it's kind of hard to stay in contact with people like from out of state, because when you're out of state, it's kind of hard. I haven't really talked to my other teammates who are even like in Chicago and Iowa and Ohio. And I haven't talked to really many of those guys, but um I don't know. Like I will follow them, but I mean, there really isn't much interaction outside of like your state. So
Yeah, I feel that. So this is kind of a hypothetical. If you could play doubles with anyone in the world, who would it be?
I mean, I'd play with Federer. I mean, that's just because he's my like my childhood like idol.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, he was like my first like athlete that I was like, I want to be like him. Um, and I mean, there's a picture downstairs in my basement of me getting his autograph. My dad was just in the right place at the right time to snap the photo, and it's just my face like freaking out, red. I'm just like this is the best day of my life. It's like at the moment, and I remember just like, I don't know. He's such a like good and humbled guy, and also he's like just my idol. Like that would be like someone who likes basketball saying like, "Oh, I want to play with like LeBron or Jordan or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
Like Federer is like the LeBron and Jordan of tennis. So I kind of have, it's either that or one of the other big three. So, but I'd have to say Federer just because he's been my lifelong hero. So
Yeah, I understand that. Um, so the next question, kind of going back to your career, what would you say is your favorite thing about being a student athlete
are you talking in high school or are you talking in college?
in college? In college.
Um, I'm always busy, but not too busy. Like there's still time to like kind of just like hang out and like talk to my girlfriend or like talk to my friends or just go and eat, and like I don't understand. I feel like I'd have too much time on my hands to just like not be an athlete, but that's like been my whole life. So like I don't really understand that side of the spectrum, which is okay. And I understand like people have other things to keep them entertained, but for me it's harder to see that. But it is it also is a good foundation to like meet people as well, because like I mean, I went to Springfield, Ohio, Wittenberg, and I had no idea anyone going there. And everyone else is like either pretty local, or at least I'm like one of two kids that came from Wisconsin from there, and the other one's like a junior, so like I don't really know him. But I mean, it's just like it's a close knit family um that you have, and you like will always have guys like to talk to,
Mhm.
or and the girls team, because honestly the girls and the guys team are like one big team. So we'll always have people to talk to. We'll always be able to like to say, hey, you want to go, I don't know, get food at McDonald's at like 2 in the morning, and like when somebody else is studying, be like, yeah, sure, I'll go. Or if you ever need like a help on the court, or um just like in general, like mental health issues, or like you're struggling with this video game, or you're struggling with, or like this person like needs help moving something or whatever, it's like I'd be willing to do that for any one of my teammates, male or female. And so I mean, and I know they do the same for me. So I mean, it's kind of a close knit family, and also like you have uh and having a coach that cares too about you. It's not just you as not just you as an athlete and a student, but also as a like overall person. So that's it's a very close knit family, and it's a definitely different experience in high school, and I do like it a lot. Um, so it's a very it keeps me busy, and it's a good family, and it's a good core to have. So
Yeah. What would you say is something that most people might not expect about being a student athlete? Like, is there anything that took you by surprise?
um, you don't get as much gear as you thought. I mean, granted, this is Division 3. I mean, you're on more of a budget. I thought I was gonna get like the tracksuit and everything, but like and like the backpacks, the shoes, and I was like, nah. Like, I mean, I was really kidding, but I mean, to be honest, it really wasn't. I mean, I thought going into school, like especially if you're a D1 athlete, what I've learned is if you're D1 or D whatever, nobody gives a shit. Like you may be like, oh, he's like cool, like, or like you can get into parties or something like that, but I mean, you're just treated like just another student. Like you're not anything special, which is something I like. Which is something I like because just because I play a sport at university doesn't mean I'm entitled to other things than people are. Like they're paying the same tuition, they're going to the same classes, they're doing all this other stuff that I'm doing at the same time while balancing sport. Like there shouldn't be a priority here. Like we shouldn't be treated any better or any worse than just an average student. So um I like that's just it's a good feeling to know like I'm equal to everyone. I'm not viewed as higher or lower. So
Yeah. Yeah. We have, I mean, having guys that are on the D1 football team, like we have guys like Adrian Martinez and JD Spielman that like, you know, guys will everyone will be like, "Oh my god, JD Spielman lives on my floor." Like I've seen Adrian Martinez go, in my class and stuff like that. And it's like you get some clout from that, but like I have other guys like in my classes, and like you said, they're just regular dudes, and they're treated completely the same by the teachers, by the other kids in the class. And yeah, I didn't expect that either. Like going into it, I was like when I
yeah.
met one of the guys, this dude, okay, he is huge. His name is Noah Stefersky. He plays on the football team, and
Hmm.
his like thighs are probably like the size of my waist. They're huge. Like this dude is mad. He like his neck is the size of my waist. He's huge, and he's like I introduced myself because I sat next to him for half the year, and I was like, hey, what's up? And he was like, hey Joe, I'm nothing much. I'm and he's like really quiet and outspoken and doesn't talk much. And I was like, I was not expecting that from a lineman. And it really made me like question everything, where I was like, oh, okay, they're just college kids, you know, they're my age, they're doing the same thing that I am. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a little different because like I'm at a D3 school, you're at a D1 school. Like obviously D1 athletes take priority towards everything, and they have more of a better chance of going pro and everything like that. So I mean, I guess it's a little cool. I mean, you definitely could get more clout by doing that, but that's also a nice thing about going to a D3 school. Just like we're all here to either just play a sport because we love the sport and get an education pretty much, and we're all just viewed as the same. So
Yeah, I feel that. Do you have any specific goals for your college career?
well, I have two really. Um, one of them is team oriented, and one of them is individual oriented. And that is my team one is to because Wittenberg really isn't that great of a tennis program. It's definitely a rising program. And we were on our way to shock a couple of teams this year in our conference. So the teams that we as a team are, and personally, like as a goal, I wrote this down on the first day of school, was to win conference at least once in my 4 years here. And that's a pretty daunting task because we have teams like Denison and Kenyon who are top 25 almost every year. And then the middle of the pack are just shy out of being in the top 30 or whatever in the not just the region, but in the country as well. So it's definitely a daunting task, but I feel like we're setting ourselves up for success around my junior and senior year. And if we keep all of our key players and we keep just like grinding and working, that'll be I feel like that is not far from reality. And my personal goal is to be an All-American in singles or doubles, or like just All-American is the goal. So that's the more individual goal, and there's not much to that. I mean, there's a lot of D3 schools, and I'd have to compete with a lot of other great players out there, but that's just my goal. It's a very lofty goal. It's going to be very hard to do, but that's just one thing that I hope to do. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't achieve a goal if you don't set it, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. I like that. Okay, well, that's all my questions. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been great talking to you.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Thank you, Jake. That brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all again tomorrow. Peace.